The playoffs? You gonna talk to me about the playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I'm just trying to win one game. I actually need to win four games to overtake the lead here with our NFL pick'em. Hey, this is Gobo coming at you again. It is in fact the playoffs, Dames. Are you excited? I'm
Dude,
excited.
yeah, I'm yoked, man. Less than 24 hours. We're underway.
Oh my God. Yeah, and we're sitting here on the cusp of having our first ever NCAA football playoff matchup for the national championship. Um, and then on top of that, we have the NFL playoffs starting literally like 7 hours after that's done. So we're we're pretty stoked. It is a good time to be a football fan. It's my favorite time of year. I'm so glad the Packers are participating this year. We'll see how long it lasts. We'll see if I come in wearing the crown or the bag next week. Um, but let's get into a little bit of news. We'll start in the halls of academia. Very first thing I want to say is congratulations to Marcus Freeman, the first ever black head coach to appear in a collegiate national championship.
Doesn't that feel like crazy
That is so crazy to me that
that it hasn't happened
that
yet?
I mean, because yeah, competitive college football has been a thing for like 100 years, and it's pretty wild that he's the first guy of his of that racial mixture to pull that off. So big ups. That fucking Notre Dame Penn State game, dude, that was a banger. Like I was watching the whole time. I'm like, I don't know who's going to win this game. Like it's just and I haven't felt that way about a college football game in a long time.
Yeah. I
So
watched it on replay. I missed it because I forgot that it was even on. So
right,
like when I saw the final score, I was like, "What? I need to go back and watch this."
yeah. Well, I had a late meeting last night, so I actually had to like yeah, I watched rewatch the recording. So I was just like avoiding the news. Like some guy was watching the score on his phone at the meeting. Is like, no, put that away. Like and then as we speak right now, Ohio State and Texas duking it out. Last I saw, Ohio State was up. Hang on, we can actually look right now.
I mean,
Uh
you can see it in the background in a blur. That's what it is.
That's what's going. Okay, 14-7 with 8.5 minutes left in the third. Texas has the ball on their own 33. So looks like that one's turning out to be a good game too. I thought that one was going to be a blowout. I thought either Ohio State was going to play their game and blow Texas out, or they were going to make a bunch of mistakes and Texas was going to flip it on them. I didn't think it was going to be a defensive matchup like this with how much power those two offenses have.
We shall see.
But it's going to be a fun natty for sure. Whether it's either of those teams, just all of the programs left are just these huge storied football schools, crazy histories. It's going to be a lot of fun. Huge amounts of talent. Man, I didn't realize how good Notre Dame's defense was. That shocked me.
I mean, they're, I
They're
haven't
in the
really
national
watched,
championship for something. Yeah, like
I haven't really watched them this year because they're not in a conference, so they kind of slip by the wayside a lot of the times.
and they lost to Northern Illinois. So I mean, like that just screams pretender to me. But college football. This is why we have a playoff.
Indeed.
All right, let's talk about the boys getting paid to do it. Um, so we're gonna get to the coaching carousel. I know that's on everybody's mind. A bunch of coaches got fired. It was Black Monday. Six head coaching vacancies in the NFL right now. We'll talk about all of them. But first, Tyreek Hill lets the Dolphins know I'm out this bitch. He's
Did you
like,
see that?
you're gonna arrest me in the parking lot, and then we're not gonna make the playoffs. So
That was week one. That seems like not that long ago that we
I
talked about.
know, I know. That's how crazy this season was. It just zipped by.
Did you see the clip?
I didn't know.
They're like, so he's like, dude, I've never not made the playoffs. He's like, I'm I'm out. He's like, I'm out. I'm out. Like
No,
I got
I get it, man. Like
look out.
when you're the best player on your team and you come that close to making the playoffs, you know that like if you go to a better team, like you're basically guaranteed.
Look out, ladies, whatever city he lands in, you might get impregnated just by his landing there.
I mean, so let's think about potential landing spots for Tyreek, giving the quality of the women who live in those cities. So Buffalo, Kansas City, out of the question.
Belongs in Nolans.
Or yeah, like New Orleans, the Rams, like trying to think like Texas, like he could end up with like Dallas or Houston. Got
The
some good.
Rams don't need a receiver at all. They're
I mean, I think that most teams would take Tyreek though.
I don't want him.
I mean,
I don't want him.
tell you what,
You're like, we'll take him.
I was gonna say, I mean, I would love him on the Packers, but I've seen what the women in Wisconsin look like. So like,
But do you want to pay him $30 million a year?
I do not. Considering I would much rather give Josh Jacobs that money. Um, Anywho, Tyreek gonna be Ty freaking on out of there. Um, Mike Evans goes to the playoffs again at the ripe old age of 53 years old. He's not actually 53. Um, but the guy's been in the league forever and he just is consistently performing. So, um,
Dude, I'll go on record and say he is one of the quietest top five receivers of all time. Like just and what he does is so quiet. Like no one ever talks about him. But he literally tied Jerry Rice's record for 1,000 yard seasons in a row at 11. Now Rice had 14 overall, and he's about a little over halfway to the touchdown mark. But he's got game left in him, and he's
that
just he's one of the top five in the game right now, quietly.
I think it's wild because yeah, when you think about top five receivers, I think almost nobody would have Mike Evans on that list. But you make an interesting point because also Jerry Rice played for way better teams.
Oh yeah,
Those 49ers teams, he had Steve Young, he had Joe Montana, he had Ronnie Lott, he had a whole crew of dudes surrounding him that were the best guys in the league. So not to discount everything that he did, but like yeah, Mike Evans has done it with Tampa Bay.
is he one of them? He's also one of the most loyal players I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody stays with that franchise for that long. Well, he got his ring. I mean, that's nice. Um, but yeah, for real, it's Mike Evans. Good man. Um, okay. 15 teams in the history of the NFL have won 10 games.
No, no, no. Let me.
Yeah, I was like, can you explain this stat
15
line to
teams
me?
this year won 10 or more games. 14 of them are in the playoffs. The only one that's not, that's NFL, bro.
The Hawks.
That's the only reason it's in there.
I mean, yeah, it's
10 and
end
7.
of the show for a reason. But you're also the first ever team to win a playoff game with a negative record.
It's true.
It was a great year. That was the year the Packers won the Super Bowl
Against the defending champs.
against the defending champs.
Hey, the
And
14-year anniversary
maybe,
of that was yesterday.
and I also love that game because it gave us maybe the best run in NFL history. Like
That's
fucking
top three.
beast mode broke a tackle from every single New Orleans player on that play. Every one of them got their hands on him and he still scored.
It's true.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable effort.
Look at this
Um,
run. Oh, look at this run. Oh, what a run. Get off me, he says to Tracy Porter. I'm
yeah,
like,
like just like listening to the announcers like, he's still going. Like
dances in for the touchdown.
Yeah, and he still had enough energy to grab his dick. God bless
That
that
that's
man.
become iconic. There's been like five players fined for doing that
I
this year.
know, yeah, and now it's against the rules to do that because of him.
Yeah, I love.
So that is his legacy in this league. He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame, but
I sure hope so. He didn't make the
I
finals list, but there's time.
he he deserves it. Um, Joe Burrow, the best player in the world. I'm gonna let you take this one.
He's the best player in the world to not be in the playoffs. And here's the thing. You know what? I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm wearing this because these suckers are on a collision course with the people that irresponsibly just didn't even show up for the game because they were so fucking scared of Cincinnati being in. So I just want to say to the Kansas City fans, you know, I love you. Uh,
Burrowhead.
but here's the thing. I'm going to be nice on here, but I'm going to put in the scroller down below my thoughts on the Chiefs fans or the Chiefs specifically for doing this because I know that the fans can't read it. But
Those
that
kids could, if those kids could read, they'd be very upset right
dude,
now.
how pathetic. You know, here, dude, can I just tell you how pathetic this is, Gobo? There's one fucking team all year long that got shut out. Do you know who it was?
It was the Chiefs.
New Orleans Saints. One team. And guess what? They wait till the final week of the season to say, you know what? And it's a mistake. This is a mistake. If Denver gets past this first round and plays Kansas City again, they know they know that they can beat them. And there's no reason to not believe. They almost won the first time, and then I don't even care who was on the field. They
I mean,
absolutely slaughtered them.
I honestly like, and I say this with full sincerity, whoever Kansas City plays in 2 weeks, they're gonna struggle with. I
Yeah.
don't care who it is, they're gonna struggle.
I hope they do because that was bullshit.
Yeah, nobody wants to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl
They're
again.
fucking scared of Joe Burrow, and they proved it by not even scoring a point.
Okay, so I'll tell you, I almost had an opportunity to go to this game. My buddy's mom has season tickets right under the goalpost, under the big horse. Like it's the great seats. And she didn't want to go to the game because it was like 4 degrees and blowing snow. The Chiefs already said they weren't going to play any of their starters. I have not. So everyone wants to talk about like, I know this is we're not going to talk about the recaps. Um, the Packers lost to the Bears last week. We did not play our starters, and we still almost beat the Bears. And they came up with a miraculous victory. Whatever, good for them. It's a moral victory. I'm proud of them. Good for the Bears. The Chiefs didn't play their starters and lost by like 40 points. Like we lost by a last second field goal. That is the difference here. The Chiefs starters are marginally better than the rest of the teams. Marginally.
I
So,
I mean, I have a lot to say about dude. Kansas City is in trouble in the next couple of years because they're just going to get better.
well, for sure.
They don't have to pay.
I like Bo Nix a lot.
They
Like
don't have to pay
I think
homeboy for another 4 years.
yeah, you could tell that any issues that Bo Nix had this season, you could totally attest to just him being a rookie and not knowing the speed of the game yet, but he got better as the year progressed. And so that means he's going to get better in the offseason. He's going to learn the system better. He's going to learn the speed of the game better. He's going to come back next year, and the Broncos could win that division. It's 100% feasible. So, um, but did Kansas City lose because they were afraid of Joe Burrow? I don't know if I agree with that. I think they lost because they suck.
They're afraid of Joe Burrow.
Okay.
They
Well,
didn't even
both of those things can be true.
I mean, that's the look. Just go with me on this one. They don't want, and nobody does. He could be the MVP of the league, dude. 42 touchdown passes.
Dude, his stats were good, but Cincinnati's a shit. It was a shitty team this year.
They weren't though. They lost a lot of games at the last second.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
if you don't win the last one, nobody remembers.
well, it's not team, it's player, and
Oh,
he
okay.
performed better than any player did. Um, I mean, he's not gonna win it. I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna win it. I'm saying that if I was picking out of those players to start my team, I'm picking Joe fucking Burrow.
I remember you saying that the other week. You'd pick him over Lamar and Josh.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm saying if he was my quarterback, I wouldn't trade him for either of those guys.
I think it's interesting. Would you take him over Mahomes?
Yes,
Wow. That's crazy.
I know.
That's crazy. Just because, and the only reason I say that's crazy is because I know that we're shit talking the Chiefs. Mahomes wins in the postseason, and that's what you want in your quarterback. But the only team that has consistently beat the Chiefs in the playoffs has been Joe Burrow's Bengals. So,
Well, and that's what he's 2-1 against them, 3-1 against them.
mhm. In the
So
postseason,
why
yeah,
wouldn't I pick him over Mahomes? If that's the guy you got to beat,
you got to
every
beat the. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the
I
best.
mean, it's a good problem to have, and
I mean, yeah. I mean, either any of those four guys we mentioned, if they're running your ship, you're doing okay.
yeah.
Um,
You know
all
what? I'm
right.
just going to go on record, Gobo, before you move on. Mahomes is the last of those four that I would pick.
And that's funny you say that because I had kind of that same thought. I'm like, how do you win three Super Bowls and still be the fourth best quarterback in the AFC? But I don't know. I can tell you though, when Tom Brady was still actively playing, there were other quarterbacks I would have taken. I would have taken instead of him.
Me too.
You
Because
know,
for him, you can't just put him on your team and win. He has to
right?
go to
Well,
a team with
I
good.
mean, I mean, Tampa did.
Their
So
defense was incredible, though.
yeah, they had
Their
Dominic
defense
Sue
was- Like
and
you couldn't have
Danny
put him on
Trevathan and a
Seattle
whole
and
bunch of
like,
other
oh,
guys too.
we're gonna win the Super Bowl because it's Tom Brady. It's still the Seahawks, and
Tom Brady still had a damn good season with them though.
yeah,
He brought his homie Gronk. Yeah, no, that was the whole thing.
yeah. So yeah,
Anywho, so speaking of being the best, there was one meaningful game last week. It was Detroit and Minnesota for the number one seed in the NFC, which is crazy that that wasn't decided by now. Um, Detroit, even though they were beat up, pulls off the win. They've had a couple of ugly wins. They've had, some questionable play. There's been a lot of like up in the air. Is Detroit actually the pride of the NFC? And they had an opportunity to stamp their ticket, and they did it.
first half of that game not impressive by either team, and then you just saw Detroit pull away. Do I think that would be the way of it the second time around? I don't know, man. I don't
Yeah,
know. I think they're still pretty evenly matched. Um, but we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. We got our number one seed and we got our number, what, they dropped down to five.
five. Yeah,
Okay.
yes. Washington six. Um, yeah. I mean, we'll see. I'm definitely more worried about Philly than I am about Detroit, so we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I mean, yeah.
Um, and then Bryce Young maybe makes a case for himself as a starting quarterback continuing on in the NFL.
I've already, the only reason I put
I
that on,
know I know you love this guy. He looked good. I mean, he looked good. Atlanta looked like shit. I'm just gonna say it. Atlanta, like that whole thing needs to be torn down. Cause like
oh, I don't, I no, look, Bijan Robinson is going to be the number one pick in fantasy draft for almost everyone next year. He's going to be. If you look at the numbers, you must not have played fantasy this year
I
because
did. I had Saquon and Derrick Henry.
he's phenomenal. Saquon, well, here's the thing. A lot of people are down on Saquon because of what happens to players after they have this huge year. I mean, AKA Christian McCaffrey being the most recent example. But Bijan Robinson, he's a top three pick next year. Maybe not number one, but he will be in a lot of drafts. But he's a top three pick in fantasy. You got a new quarterback well, you have a quarterback problem now. It's officially a problem.
Yeah, like
Because
I would say it wouldn't be a problem if they would not have given that contract to Cousins.
if you had, oh yeah, if you would have just, you know,
Like if Cousins was on a 1 year deal, like okay, cool, we got our dude, get out of here. But
yeah, but you gotta
now,
figure that situation out now because um
yeah,
at
you
the
have a
end of
proven
the
rookie and you
day,
have a guy under contract who sucks.
you're either going to be paying for a franchise quarterback that's benching for the next 4 years until you have to pay your actual franchise quarterback, or I mean, there's got to be a scenario where he gets cut or reworks his deal or
Yeah.
something. And he's a nice
And
guy, so he'll do it. But
I mean, and also Penix could regress. I mean, we don't know what's going to
well,
happen.
he in 3 games he got better each game. And I'm going to tell
I
you, he
agree.
had an
I mean,
interception on his record, but it bounced right off the fucking dude.
yeah,
It bounced off the dude, and like it was like a 25-yard pass. The guy was wide open. He was on the ground, and it bounced up off of his.
yeah, I remember I seen
I was
it.
like, that's not on. Like it's on. It's
No,
gonna go on his record, but he played phenomenally in that game. He didn't get a chance to have the ball in overtime because Bryce, and this is exactly this is the game I wanted to watch because I was like, I want to see, and we had like fucking what was it, 44-38
yeah, it just
score. I'm like, this was awesome. This was two young guys just going and like
playing some
five,
ball, man. It was
five
fun.
touchdowns Bryce had. Those are superstar numbers, dude. And for him to do that, I know the game doesn't matter, but you tell me they were trying to keep them out of that game, out of the playoffs until they didn't know that they were eliminated until overtime. And I mean, by then you're not going to not score, you know.
Right.
So
Well, and I
everyone
know
in
that
that game
a
was
lot of
playing.
NFL, a lot of like scoreboard operators like won't show the score of the game so the players can't see it if they're eliminated. If they have a
Right.
chance to take it and win, they'll show it immediately.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just it was a fun game, man. And like I really, every time I see that rule where someone scores and they don't give the other quarterback a chance, again, I always think about the time where it benefited me and I'm like, but I mean, who's to say we still didn't win that game anyway? But
Yeah.
you
I was
never
like
I
the
would
one
like
time the one time it benefited me, it would have been the same even if it was college rules.
yeah.
So,
So yeah,
all
I
right.
mean, well, it was I think Penix has a great future and I hope they trade him. They won't, but
Why would they? Well, maybe they will. We'll see what happens. Okay. All right. So there's our news. Um, 6 head coaching vacancies in the NFL. 3 coaches fired during the season. That was um Matt Eberflus, Robert Sala, and Dennis Allen, all given the boot mid-season, held on for interims. None of those teams made the playoffs, obviously. Surprisingly, Jared Mayo let go in New England. Antonio Pierce, one and done in Vegas. And then probably the biggest name cut from the list, Doug Peterson, fired from the Jaguars.
you know what bothers me about those first two? Look at that number next to their name on the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
That's the year they were hired.
This year they were all hired, yeah.
That's this season. Um, you fired your coach of the Raiders mid-season, and you hired the interim, and then you fired him a year later. Dude, no.
There's, I will tell you, don't fucking hire your interim head coach. Don't do it because that interim head coach is always a part of the coaching regime that came before that was the system you don't want your team to have anymore. It's not worth it. Don't fucking hire your interim. It's like let him get a job somewhere else.
Yeah, and the first one, Jared Mayo, that just bothers me on like a cellular level, dude. This guy is Ring of Honor material. They knew it, and they're gonna hire Vrabel. Let's be honest, they're gonna hire Vrabel, who's
Yeah.
also Ring of Honor. Well, how long's his leash? Come on, this is
I
just
mean, they're all looking
you
for
don't have to hire somebody that's connected to your organization, you dumb shits. And if you do, you owe them better than that.
I mean, this Robert Kraft though, he's an old school guy, I think that he was spoiled by with Belichick for so long and
You know what I
now he
read?
doesn't really know what to
You know
do.
what I read, Gobo? I read that Jared Mayo went on a trip with them while Belichick was still coach, and Kraft said there's something special about that kid, and they made him a promise that he was going to be the next of kin. They made him a promise, and when the time came, they made good on the promise, and now they're
Yeah.
pulling the plug.
Well,
That is
you know
abs
what Turbo Man always says. You got to keep your promises if you want to keep your friends.
absolute horseshit, dude.
That's pretty wild though that yeah, he
Can you
was like
imagine drafting like this is Carolina giving up on Bryce Young before the season started. And I'll be honest with you, Gobo, there was a time like around week 6 where we could have had Bryce Young for DK Metcalf straight across. And we didn't do it because everybody was like, oh, he sucks. And now I'm not saying he's Jesus or anything, but he's going to come into his third year and they're going to have expectations on him.
well,
And he's
I I could tell you when they benched him, like, and a lot, you can take that one of two ways.
no,
You can
exactly
go
what
the
you're
Marcus
saying. I don't like
Mariota route and act like a complete dick about it, or you can stay there, support your team, get better in practice, and then get your ass back on the field and try to do something with it. Bryce was the second option there. So
yeah.
I got a lot of respect for him for doing that because he balled out after he got benched.
Yeah. And he's like, you know what? I don't, I'm just speculating. I don't know anything about this, but to your point, he, in my mind, he was like, this can't be it for me. I was the number one pick. It ain't gonna go down like that. And I mean, if you look at his numbers, he outperformed any rookie from this year, including Jaden Daniels. I mean, and he missed 3 games. So let's not
Yeah.
pull the plug on
But
Bryce.
before we punch the Panthers ticket to the Super Bowl next year, yeah, let's see how the offseason goes and how all the rest of this shapes out. But that is pretty wild. What I don't understand about the Mayo situation is that like not only was it his first year, not only is he like, Patriots royalty, but it wasn't even that bad of a season. Like, considering first year coaches and their track record, like, no, he didn't make the playoffs. No, they weren't really competitive against Buffalo, but like they weren't the worst team in the league. Like there are teams retaining their coaches who had worse seasons than the Patriots.
True.
I don't fucking get it. I don't get it. So
Well, once they got Mayo in, and he didn't start for like the first 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks maybe, or not Jared May, sorry, Drake May. Once they
Drake May, yeah, the quarterback, yeah.
decided to put him in, Mayo, it's close enough. Um, they got better. They got better, and we both had them beating Buffalo this week, and they did
They did.
handily. So, I mean, we didn't even
Buffalo's backups, but
we didn't
yes.
even think twice. I know, but we didn't even think twice about it.
Right.
We're like,
We knew
that's
it was
a
feasible.
team,
Yeah.
good enough team to do it,
Well, and
especially.
here's yeah. So here's this is crazy. I know we're gonna talk about the draft order here in a second. Patriots are picking fourth. The three teams ahead of them, none of the coaches fired.
Yeah, what does that say?
Crazy. So, um, who takes over the Bears next year?
I'm
They
I'm curious myself.
you know, they interviewed Pete Carroll. Um, we know the Giants aren't firing their coach, so
Can I tell you? Can I tell you? Here, Spagnola is who they need to go after. They need to go after him.
I could see it.
Say whatever amount of money you need, I'm going to pull you away from Andy Reid because we're a dumpster fire right now, and you are a genius. So let's make let give me some numbers. That's what I would do. But I mean,
Yeah. No, I can think of a lot of people that would be bad hires. Spagnuolo is that's not bad. Like I think that would get that makes their offense a little more feasible. Because I think that like their defense isn't bad. They're just kind of unorganized, and I think that they get bogged down in momentum a lot. Caleb has talent. I saw that the kid can make plays. He can get out of the pocket. He can make throws down the field. He's not confident, and his offensive line is fucking terrible.
yeah,
So, like, if they fix those issues, the Bears maybe get back to mediocrity. I have no faith in the Bears. I don't say that just as a Packers fan. I say that as a fan of football who has watched this team be fucking terrible my entire life. My
yeah.
whole life. They won the Super Bowl the year I was born, and then they have not. I mean, they went to one Super Bowl when I was in college and got lit up by Peyton Manning. And it was all because of fucking the returning guy, Devin Hester. Um, Mike McCarthy had a meeting with the Bears. Um, he has also met with the Cowboys in an effort to rework his contract or to come up with another contract. So Mike McCarthy is going to be a head coach somewhere in the NFL next year, which is fucking flabbergasting to me. And it's even more upsetting that it could be with Dallas.
Good Lord.
Like what the fuck? Like how I'm trying to think like what the equivalent of me at my like if I went to work and shit on my boss's desk and didn't get fired, it would be like less egregious than Mike McCarthy what Mike McCarthy has done in the last job. So I don't know,
Oh,
Jesse. I don't know if you watch my show, but I'm not gonna shit on your desk, dude. Um, all right, let's talk draft order. Um, a new contestant has entered the game. Tennessee with the number one pick, and
unbelievable. I mean,
God damn it, they need it.
think about this though. The Patriots, by beating Buffalo's hapless asses, took themselves out of the first pick.
We
And
talked about this though. They
we
don't need it.
did. We did because they don't need it.
They don't need it.
We would rather
It's
win.
better to win a game.
And I, you know, and they fucking fired.
And then they fired him.
Ah,
What an asshole.
yes.
Maybe they like maybe Robert Kraft he pulls Mayo aside. He's like, "Hey, listen here, Chuck. Don't go out there and win this game. We're gonna."
That's why he got fired.
And then he's just like and then Mayo like he walks out in the crowd and everyone's cheering. He's just like, "Fuck this!" And then he's just like, and then they blows out the Bills and gets fired like
It's like
10
Jerry
minutes later.
Maguire. I lost the first pick of the draft the night before the draft.
Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. That would
That's
make
you
sense.
know what?
That
That's
would
good
make
chalk it up.
sense.
But you see what I'm saying? Where my mind is, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
they didn't need the first pick. We talked about it. They'd be,
Yeah, they have their quarterback. They don't need it.
but Kraft could still be like, we could have got, dude, we could have got 3 first round picks for that pick. You're fired.
But you didn't.
Yeah.
So Patriots now picking at 4. Titans, Browns, Giants. Titans and Giants are obviously going to take quarterbacks. There's 3 of them to pick from. 2 of them are going to be gone. If the Titans and Giants do not take quarterbacks, they will be in this spot next year too. The Browns can't take a quarterback because they're shoehorned into somebody. So that's really the only interesting pick in this top 5 to me.
I mean, they've got 3 guys that can play the position. Why would you take another?
Well, they have one guy that they are forced to play the position.
Yeah, I mean, they're forced to pay him, but you could, I mean, they would feasibly be in the same situation Atlanta's in, paying a
Yeah.
bunch of money to a
Who is
guy to
it?
sit
Yeah,
for another.
Dorial Thompson Robinson and fucking and eat the pussy, what's his name? Jameis Winston. Yeah,
I don't
that's all
know.
I can think about. He got suspended at Florida State for jumping on a table in the cafeteria and yell and eat that pussy.
I th- I think I don't think he's on the roster after this year.
Probably not.
But Thompson Robinson was a rookie last year, so he's still got 2 years on his rookie deal. So
Yeah,
you have a seasoned guy. They'd have Watson and whoever they would assumably draft. It wouldn't matter because they'd be paying the same amount to another
I don't
rookie.
know. It's just I watched a bunch of highlights of Jameis Winston. Not his football. I mean, I'm very familiar with his game on the field. He's like the weirdest fucking guy. Like he was doing his like licking his like his fingers and shit. I was like, how does anybody look at this guy and be like, man, I want him leading my group of young impressionable men, into war here. What a goober that fucking
Good
guy
luck.
is. If he was a cornerback, it would make total sense, but because he's a QB, it's just like, man, what the fuck?
So let's talk about this. Season record 6-9-2. We tied last week. Believe that
Ooh,
we only tied twice in 17, 18 weeks. That's crazy.
pretty good.
9-6-2, obviously. But that brings up an interesting situation. I'm not bragging it about because you actually missed like 3 weeks or two
I
weeks.
did.
Um, but we could feasibly, if you play your cards right, we can end up tied at the Super Bowl at uh
Outstanding.
at 9 wins. And then the Super Bowl would be our Super Bowl between the two of us. So
Right.
good luck.
Yeah. No, I feel really confident that I'm going to be able to do it. So, um, just like Percy and Matilda eating that giant chocolate cake, got to start with the first bite. So let's talk about Wild Card Weekend. Let's make some picks.
Let's.
Start out with the most exciting game of the week,
Oh, don't do that.
Houston and the Chargers. Do I have to pick this game first?
I don't care what
Here,
you.
we'll flip a coin to see who picks first. There's so few games. Where the fuck is my pause? Okay, there. Okay. All
If you
right.
want to, I will. I will.
No, I'll flip it. We'll make it extremely fair. So I have
Let's flip for every game then.
okay. Every game?
Yeah,
Not like you pick first, then I pick first.
correct. We'll flip for
Okay.
every
All right.
playoff.
So,
We gotta do something different. Something
all
different.
right. So because you're wearing your new snazzy Broncos hat, I'll give you heads. So if it lands on Elvira's Macabre Mobile, then you make the pick first. If it lands on this blank space on the back, I pick first. So first one, fuck, it's me. Okay. Oh my God. I'm gonna take the Chargers. Um, and it's so funny because at the beginning of the season we picked Houston as the pride of the AFC. They have unraveled. It got even sort of competitive with them and the Colts in this division. Um, CJ Stroud, man, it's just like all of his like supporting cast just disappeared. And then that being said, the Chargers, they got a lot of talent, man. Herbert's a great quarterback. So yeah, I'll take Chargers on the in the dome.
All right, let's do this, Gobo. Until the Super Bowl, we'll flip whoever gets to pick. The other person has to take the other two.
Oh, okay, okay.
Let's do that until the Super Bowl.
Until the
I
Super
don't want
Bowl.
my Super Bowl pick based on a coin toss.
Okay.
You already
So
know I feel like it's going to be the Eagles. Sorry. Prove me wrong this week, and then we can
I
shut.
would I would love to prove you wrong. I don't say that with any confidence.
Well, I mean, it's good to be humble.
It's
So
good to
I
it,
guess I guess I got Houston on this one.
so you get the Texans. All right. This game is actually going to be a lot of fun, this next one. Baltimore Pittsburgh division rivalry in the cold. Oh, Mike Tomlin, Harbaugh, fucking Russell Wilson is in the playoffs again. What the fuck is our life? All right. Heads or tails? Oh, it's tails again. Okay. So I get to pick first.
Oh, I already know who you're gonna take, and I'm okay with it.
You don't know who I'm taking.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I'm taking Baltimore.
I told you.
I'm wearing a Baltimore jersey. I should take Baltimore. Um, yeah, I mean, this is going to be tough because, yeah, it's a division game. Crazy shit happens. I just, Russell Wilson in the playoffs? The playoffs?
Playoffs.
I mean, it's not impossible, but it's pretty unlikely.
You know, you can't have playoffs without layoffs. I'm probably the first person to ever say that.
I was going to say I don't get it, but I loved hearing it.
Well, I mean, this is it. He's laid off after he's got no job. He was a 1 year deal. So,
Russ, yeah. You don't think he's going to get picked up somewhere?
oh yeah, but it ain't gonna be Pittsburgh.
Probably
Not gonna
not.
pay millions of dollars when they have Justin Fields.
Right. Yeah. Fields has proven that he's
I
sort of
mean,
competent.
unless Pittsburgh wins the Super Bowl, which you've predicted they're ousted in this round. So,
I did. But man, Steelers Ravens Super or no, what Steelers Eagles Super Bowl? How would that be?
that'd be
The
classic.
Pennsylvania Bowl. That'd be something.
Be a classic, man.
All right. Up next, this is one where you want to win the flip. Buffalo and Denver. All right.
Oh, I honestly, I'm gonna pick Denver if I get it.
You got it. You landed heads.
Let's go,
You're
Broncos!
taking the Broncos
Hey!
country. Let's ride. Ah,
Dude, I'm just look. The Chiefs made a big mistake by letting them blow them out because I don't care who's on the field. Those guys didn't feel that.
well, and Denver's the 7th seed, so if they win, they play the Chiefs in the next round.
That's what I'm hoping, and that's what I'm saying. Kansas City's gonna be like, oh, I wish we were playing Cincinnati. Yeah,
Yeah, I will have to find inner solace knowing that I'm picking the fucking Buffalo Bills at home in the snow against a rookie.
yeah, you got it.
Um,
You got it, buddy. Plus I'm trying to, trying to temper
you,
it.
you're trying to make it exciting. I see what you're doing. Yeah. All right. Packers Eagles.
Yeah.
It's you.
Me?
You. I know who you're picking.
I gotta stick with it, dude. I
Oh,
didn't force when I said that, I didn't foresee this first round. I thought you guys would be playing the Rams, if I'm being honest with you.
I did too.
Um, this is a tough matchup for Philly, but I can't. If I told you last week that I thought they were my Super Bowl choice, I can't renege this week.
That's fine. I
I don't like Philly. You know that. I
I
do.
know you don't like Philly. Who does?
I saw more on Saquon Barkley. I love Saquon Barkley.
He's
That
so
dude,
talented.
he's a good dude. Like seeing him with his kids, he's very
Oh,
attentive.
really?
Even when he's on the field with his kids, he's like making sure that their experience is number one to his own. And that's dude,
Wild.
it almost makes me like you got two little girls, dude.
I
So
do.
like it makes me think about like when he's like, you know, do you want me to carry that or do you have it? He's not worried about his experience at all. He's worried about, the and
Yeah.
it's great to see a player like that who would have stayed loyal to New York, but they and then this was the thing that I just want to say before we get out of here on that. He had an opportunity to break a 40-year-old record against the team that betrayed him, and he didn't take it.
And he sat out because he wanted to win the Super Bowl. Nope. I
All business all the time. Uh, I, I, I love it, but for the fans, we kind of deserve to see him get that. I mean, the fans have been watching 40 years waiting for Eric Dickerson to fall and to come this close. I think
Yeah,
it shows a big man to not take that opportunity against the team that uh
cut him. Yeah. No, like he could have scored 5 touchdowns against the Giants last week.
if
Like, yeah, yeah, no, he did the right thing. And he even said he was going to do the right thing. He's like, the record's not important to me. If it's in God's plan for me, then I accept it. But I'm here to win football games, and I'm going to do what's best for my team, which is the absolute right answer. He's a character guy. He's extremely talented. I loved him. I loved watching him at Penn State. I hated watching him play for the Giants because he got his bell rung every fucking play because they had no offensive line.
I
Um,
think that's interesting that he went to Penn State and now he plays for Philly.
He's from Philly. He's
Yeah,
like from Pennsylvania. Yeah, like I think he grew up an Eagles fan.
it's a it's a
So
good situation.
it's a Cinderella story, and I have to hope my boys can find a way. We have a good run defense. Um,
Fuck
you
the rest
know,
of this.
Love is nursing that injury. I hope he's okay. We got Rod fucking Jacobs. We got a shot. But I'll tell you, if the Packers win this game, I think we're gonna go to the Super Bowl because I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC.
It's fair.
So, up next, not the best teams in the NFC, Tampa, Washington, and I get to pick first. Oh my God. Fuck, I'll take Baker at home.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, I know you're a Redskins guy. So,
This is gonna be that game is gonna be
it's gonna be
fire. That game is gonna be fire.
It's gonna be wacky as it's gonna be two kids playing Madden at like a low skill setting. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. I'll take Tampa just because I believe in Baker Mayfield. I think that this is his resurgence. I think a playoff win cements that. I think this is their last playoff win. But I think they're gonna beat Washington. Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty, and then bringing it home at SoFi, home of the Super Bowl, Rams and Skull Vikings. Oh, and it's me again. I want to pick the Vikings. I want to do it.
You should because this team met like 3 weeks ago.
I know. And the Packers lost to the Vikings twice and blew the Rams out. Blew them out. All right, I'm gonna take the Vikings. I don't want to. I love Puka Nakua. Um, I think the Rams have hit their stride. I think Sean McVay is a great coach. Minnesota's better in almost every area.
All right, go.
Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the league.
There's two things I want to talk about before you give us our closing here on this hellish week that we've both had. Okay.
Okay.
First one is you have picked four out of these six games, and I picked Denver as one of my. There's no reason that you should not
I was gonna say, I,
take.
I see what you're kind of pulling a Chiefs on me here. You're letting me
No,
catch up.
no, I was gonna pick Denver. I mean, that's why I wore this because I'm setting up Denver, Kansas City next week in my head. So that would have happened regardless of that whole thing that I invented when we started making this.
Yeah, I would have taken the Bills if I had that
So
pick.
that's one thing. Secondly, have you ever thought of the possibility of what would happen if the conference champions or the conference championship was the Chargers and the Rams? They
This
both,
that would be the Super Bowl, and it would be at their stadium.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
How did
Yeah.
the
It's a
who
home game for both teams at a neutral game. Yeah, it's beyond comprehension.
yeah.
It, the
Conference
fa- the fact that it's even a possibility is wild.
man.
But I think the Rams, yeah, I mean, they could beat the Vikings, especially considering the Vikings are dog shit in the postseason traditionally. They could miss a field goal and blow
I
this game.
mean, this is not this. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. This is not. This is a new look Vikings team. I mean,
It's very different. Yeah.
they did lose to Detroit, but remember,
Everyone loses to Detroit.
it's been a long time since they lost, right? Do you remember what I told you about, having the pressure removed and it's kind of a reset?
Eh,
I feel like the Rams are going to get absolutely blasted, and
possible.
I have them. So, I mean, I'm hoping not, but I
I
mean,
mean, the Elvira car is the one who chose that for you, buddy.
this
Um,
this Minnesota team is going to be looking for they hit reset last week. They're
I
re
think it's a good time to be a Vikings fan. I think it's also a very scary time to be a Vikings fan because the last time they were this good was Brett Favre in 2009, and they came one play away from making that Super Bowl.
It's true.
So I would be scared if I'm a Vikings fan because it looks a lot like that team.
Let me hit save here because a couple of weeks ago, I didn't want to tell you this, but we made our picks for week 17, and then the power went out.
Oh no.
I don't have our picks for week 17. I mean, I could go watch the show again
I
and
mean, yeah,
so it's not the end of the world, but there's literally a gap on my spreadsheet for week 17.
it's okay. Anyways,
Yeah. So there you go.
well, and I also want to say that technique of losing right before the playoffs so that you can reset and retool the momentum. That's the only reason we lost to the Bears last week.
Okay.
We were getting ready, getting
Oh,
our brains ready.
dude. Okay. So I told you that Caleb would play.
Uh-huh.
And the reason that he needed to play that game was because he needed to play in Soldier Field, or not Soldier Field.
He needed to win at
He
Lambeau.
needed the experience at Lambeau,
Mhm.
and history's never going to remember anything other than he's 1-0 at Lambeau, which is unfortunate. I mean, for you, you're going to be annoyed by that at some
Yeah.
point. They're going to be like, he has never lost it.
Yeah.
And
No,
God damn it.
my brother who's a big Bears fan, he texted me the second the game was over, and it was that meme of the guy like biting the metal and like spraying champagne and kissing the girl, and then you pan out and he's like fifth on the podium. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. Is like, you know what? I'm happier for Bears fans that you guys won that game than I am sad that we lost because like we've beaten the Bears 19 times in a row. Like it's
20,
okay. You can
20
have
feels good though. 20 just feels
it
better.
would have felt, you know what? It's okay. This is also the first time Matt LaFleur has ever lost to the Bears.
Okay, that's fair.
That's wild. That's wild to me because he's been our coach for a while now. Um, well, anyways, thank you everybody for sticking with us through the regular season. We got the postseason, the playoffs, as Jim Mora would always say. Um, and yeah, let's see. Is it going to be Fly Eagles Fly? Is it going to be Broncos Let's Ride? And I mean, what various catchphrases are we going to say? Chargers Let's move back to San Diego.
Rock 'em.
Shock 'em.
Yeah.
Anyways, we love you guys. Fun. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on our various social media. I'm sure we'll be dicking around the TikTok, coming up here. And yeah, check out that. Do we have our college natty set up yet? Let's see. Is that game over? Hang on, Ohio. Five, it's 14 to 21. 5.5 minutes left in the game. Ohio State's hanging on. Texas has it on the. Oh my God, on the Ohio State 10.
Yeah.
All right,
I
I'm
was
gonna
like, I
turn
know
this
what
down.
I'm gonna do right now
I
for
was like, you know what? I got some football to watch. All right, love you guys. Go Pat, go. This could be our last week. If so, it's been a great season. I hope I get to root for you next week, boys.